How's it going, guys? And I'm here to talk about the WWE 2K22 trailer that came out today. And I thought originally it was just the cover had been released. I saw it over on Instagram, on WWE's Instagram page, but it turns out that there's a whole trailer released. We know what the cover is now. We saw some extra gameplay footage. And on top of that, we got a release date, which is March 11th. So this is going to be like right around when WrestleMania is. And, it's been a really weird ride for this game. Never before has there ever been such a big gap in the main line of WWE games. There's always been one annually, ever since this first SmackDown game. As far as I'm concerned, all the 2K games, those are all continuations of the very first SmackDown game on PlayStation. Because if you look at the controls, if you look at the setup and everything and the features, everything was kind of built off of that SmackDown game. I mean, you really can't compare them so much to like the Aki games, or the AKI games, as I like to say. They're quite different. So I always, that might be a controversial statement, but SmackDown versus Raw, WWE 12 and 13, and all the 2K games that follow, I consider that all part of one massive series that has had different hands touching it at one time or another. So let's take a look at this trailer and see what it had to offer. This was actually, it's more of a commercial style. They're calling it a trailer, but I kind of could see that they're probably going to like splice this up and edit it into the eventual commercial, because it's just they threw in like some comedy and everything. And I will say this, it's cringy, but I won't say it's as cringe as the 2K20 trailer. And that was so fitting because that was such a bad game. You have like the team that's working on it, and we see like there's various cameos from superstars. We have Alexa Bliss there. We see Biggie and Lashley are motion capturing, and they probably did that, so that's kind of cool. I do like that they add that in. We also see Rey Mysterio, who is the cover star, and I'm actually a big fan of the cover. I'm not like a massive fan, but what the thing is, it's like, over the past few years, we've had like just wrestlers standing there. I mean, ever since WWE 12, we've always just had like one wrestler on there. Then we had CM Punk on WWE 13, well, kind of just his chest anyway. We got him from the neck down. And then from 14, 2K14, 2K15, it was all just like one wrestler on there. And I really miss the days of like SmackDown and Shut Your Mouth and here comes the pain only had Brock on there. That's the exception, but all the SmackDown versus Raw games, for the most part, had like more than one guy. You had the biggest stars on there, and it was kind of cool. You could talk about, why wasn't this guy featured on there? But most of the time, you had the biggest stars at that moment featured on the cover. So I kind of missed that. I don't know why they don't just do that anymore. Like, why can't they just put like Lashley, Brock, Roman on there? Okay, you could argue that 2K20 had cringy Lynch and Roman Reigns, but you get my point. It would be nice to have two, but I like that they kind of added a bit more of a graphic to it. Well, let me actually show it to you. This is actually what the cover looks like. And I think it's kind of cool that they added this effect, and, they're kind of making it a bit more like animated, you can say, adding a bit more character to the cover. So we see like some comedy here. To me, these graphics are really looking good. The face scans we could see. How Bianca Belair looks here, and Rhea Ripley. Obviously never going to be playing as Rhea Ripley, but I think these are like pretty good face scans. If you played 2K19, or if you want to check out my review here on this channel, you'll see that that's actually a really good game. It's very overlooked, and I think it's because of the current product. A lot of people like to bash on that game, but I've said it time and time again. You know, when we looked at the teaser trailer a few months back, I said like that is you know, they missed it with 2K20, you know, because they had an untrained team working on that game and it was rushed to market. But they had a pretty good template for a pretty awesome game. You know, there was maybe a few rough edges in 2K19 that could have been ironed out in 2K20, which they obviously didn't do. It was a drastic step back. But you had a pretty good game with 2K19. So if this game is anywhere in the ballpark, and I'm going to, you know, venture a guess and say it's actually going to be better, because I think that they're really going to want to put their best foot forward. So, you know, can you imagine if this game ends up being a dud? The fact that they had over 3 years like working on this thing, for it to come out to be like a massive failure, and it really has been that. I mean, maybe a little bit less. You know, you had the whole thing of 2020, the whole thing of 2021. When was the game released? In October of 2019. So yeah, they've had like a good 2.5 years, you know, we'll say. But pretty good face scans here. We see more of Drew McIntyre. There was criticism of his face in the other trailer. You know, I wasn't too crazy about that face either. But they're probably, you know, probably going to change it. We see Dana Brooke is still in here. I mean, I don't watch Raw, but I don't even think she's on there. Undertaker's like in here somewhere. They show a clip of him. He's even in the commercial. This is like where he is. So we see Bobby Roode getting choke slammed by the Undertaker. So, you know, obviously there's going to be a roster. I also heard that The Fiend is still going to be in here, Ultimate Warrior. They're going to, like, load up with legends. So, quite frankly, here's Cena. I think Cena looks great. You know, look at the details on his physique. I think they've got this down pat. Right here you see Rollins. And this is a pretty good sequence. We see my GM. My dreams are going to come true because I could finally play as Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville. And they threw in Shane McMahon and Stephanie McMahon. You know, can you imagine these two jokers here? I can't wait to hear how is Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville's performances going to be in my GM if they're like in cutscenes. Could they be like any less charismatic? Is, you know, Adam Pearce going to make his ridiculous facial expressions? Is Sonya Deville going to have her bad acting in there? You know, we've got Ricochet here. We've got Shotzi coming out in the tank. Okay, so that entrance is already outdated. Sasha Banks, you know, Rey Mysterio, obviously. He's the cover guy. He looks great in this game. Look, yeah, see, I think they did fix the Drew McIntyre entrance here. You don't really see that ridiculous face that he made, so thank God for that. And also what's really interesting here is at the end, we see the different editions. So, of course, there's going to be this madness here. Look, Deluxe Edition, NWO4 Life Edition, which this looks pretty damn sweet. I am definitely going to go for this one here. I mean, look how awesome that is. Hogan, Hall, Nash, X-Pac on there. That, you know, now this is a cover I'm talking about, and I like how they made it all black and white and everything. So yeah, this is kind of more like the classic cover. It's not like a big variety. They're all NWO members, but I'll definitely be going for that because like these are people that I will pick. In 2K19, I played a lot with like Nash and Hall. You know, too bad Hogan couldn't be in there. And of course, we're also going to do this. There's a pre-order bonus. Get 3 playable versions of The Undertaker. They did this madness in 2K19 where you had to pre-order to have Ronda Rousey and Rey Mysterio in there. You know, wrestlers that had been on the roster for years. Like Rousey had been there for like an entire year, and you still had to like pre-order that. To me, I mean, that's just completely rotten. But You know, you're gonna have Biker Taker. This looks like this is his WrestleMania 36 appearance. You know, when he did the Boneyard match with AJ. Obviously, you know, when Taker broke his, what is his, orbital bone, this mask, and this is like 1999 Taker from the Ministry. So obviously, pre-ordering the game will probably be mandatory for me, because I'm definitely getting this game. I mean, it looks awesome. I think it looks great. Um, I'm really looking forward to it, to be quite honest. I don't really have a lot bad to say. I mean, it looks like a really fun, fantastic game. Great graphics. You know, they're bringing back like an old classic mode that was in demand. So, like, they're listening to the consumers. And yeah, I mean, I think this looks like it's going to be like one of the best looking wrestling games, because in my opinion, there's no contest. 2K19 was like the best looking wrestling game. And, you know, you could put your nostalgia goggles on, and not to say that Here Comes the Pain was not a great looking wrestling game. And I'm even playing SmackDown versus Raw 2007. And I got to say, like, that game to me looks better than like 2K14 and WWE 13, for example, in certain aspects. So, you know, it's all debatable, but at the end of the day, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I'd love to know, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bells to get all notifications when I post all my new videos. I want to thank all my patrons for your continued support. Thanks again, guys. I will see you next time.